Hello, I'm Tina Tower, and today I'm doing the wrap up of day one of the Dell Women's Entrepreneurs Conference. It was a fantastic day. Very much my highlight of the day was a lady called Nellie Galan, and she is an American producer and a media entrepreneur, and her story was absolutely amazing, the most amazing way to kick off the conference this morning. She was all about, so she came here as an immigrant with a Cuban family, attended this Catholic girls' school. She didn't like it. She wrote, anyway, long story short, but she wrote an article to 17 magazine saying why you shouldn't send your daughter to Catholic school, and they published it. And anyway, she got expelled but didn't get expelled. Look up the story, it's amazing, and became an entrepreneur that way and started her career in the media. Was a television producer, produced hundreds of shows, worked for a lot of billionaires, and spent the whole time wondering why she wasn't doing that, why she was building other people's businesses, and they were making all of the money when it was her that was doing all of the work. And she looked at them and went, you know, they're no smarter than what she is. And so she went through that. So I wrote down, oh my gosh, I wrote down like tons of notes, so I will write some of them up on the blog, but to give you a little bit of an overview of the sort of things that she was saying, and the clear takeaways was, you know, something that we all know is entrepreneurship is not linear. It does not go in a straight line. It goes up, it goes down, it goes around, and that's something that we really have to be comfortable with if we're going to be entrepreneurs, because, you know, it's one of those things that you've got to buckle in for the journey, and, you know, that it does, you're going for mastery, and you're going to have to buckle in for a lifetime, because it does take that to perfect it. One that I really agree with is make fear and failure your best friends. So I do think, you know, a lot of the time when people fail, or what stops them from doing something, is that fear of failure, because there's a lot of shame around failing, but it's really through failing and trying hard that you're going to get your biggest up, and you can't get successes without failures. You know, if we take, I'm from education, so we take maths for example, you don't get the equation the first time you try it. You have to work out the different solutions and how to do that, and so business is exactly the same. You're not going to ace it the first time. For every, you know, one success, you've got 1,000 failures, and you have to be comfortable with that. Pain is the gateway to the most authentic thing. Turn your pain into profit. So often that's, you know, thinking where are your biggest pain points in your life, and that's something that you can solve, and that's something that you can fix. To be chosen, you have to choose yourself first. It's one thing that I really love about Americans. I mean, Nellie stood on the stage and unashamedly, you know, spoke about how successful she was, how good she was at what she did. And I was sitting there going, you know, I have never seen an Australian woman stand on the stage and say, I am awesome and successful. This is how I created it, and I deserve everything I've got. You know, there's part of us that would just go, oh my God, if that happened. But I loved that she did that, and it's something that I really love about Americans. And, you know, it's something that we really need to work on, I think, is not letting go of that humility, but being comfortable enough to stand in that success and be a role model to others, and let it be inspiring, because we can only be what we can see. And I think as an Australian woman, we need to be able to see all of these people that are doing really well, so that we can then aspire to be at that level as well. To grow your business, you have to grow first. We know that. It's why I read personal development books. It's why I continue to learn as much as I can. You know, you really do have to look after yourself. You have to look after your health. You have to read a lot. You have to learn a lot, and put yourself out there. Pivot, invest money. I love, my favorite quote of the whole thing was, don't buy shoes, buy buildings, which I thought was fantastic, because, you know, financial literacy is something that we all have to learn along the way. It's not something that's taught necessarily in school or anything like that, which is not good. But, you know, especially the new generation, we're spending so much. 90% of what women earn goes straight back into local communities, which is fantastic for the economy. Not so great for our savings. So, it's all about putting that money back into investing in real estate or shares or whatever it is that floats your boat, and diversify that around. But making sure that you can earn money while you're sleeping, that you don't have to continue to work every hour for that money and trade your time for dollars. So she went through that. Redefine what you think success is. So this is something that I'm very big on as well, is what's successful to you isn't necessarily successful to another person. And you may look at someone and think, wow, they're successful, but if they're miserable and unhappy, that is not success. So it's defining exactly what success looks like for you. The example that Nellie used was do completion backwards. So look at people in their 80s and find what it is that you think is successful. And then what do you have to do in your 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s to make that happen, and work backwards from there so that you can create the actual life that you want. Because too many people it's head down, bum up, and all of this busyness without actually thinking about what it is that we're trying to create, and what sort of legacy we want to lead, and what sort of life that we want to lead as well. So keep asking constantly. Her tip was every year at least you should ask, am I still congruent with my business? Is this still the best thing for me? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to sell? Do I need to exit? Is it still working for me? That sort of thing. That was probably the best from there. The main message was definitely be louder and braver, and I think we can all benefit from that. There's her book there, Self-Made. I would definitely recommend reading it. I have not read it yet, obviously. I got it today, signed by her, which I'm excited about. But I will read it and review it, of course. So the other things that we heard from was a lot about the digital age, technology. It's so super interesting, everything that's happening in technology, especially from Dell, because they are a technology company and they're right at the forefront of VR and AI and all of these things that are coming in that just blow my mind of how that works, and the interfaces they use and the software. And so it's very, very interesting. Marketing, so you learnt about AI through marketing. There was a company called Conversion, which worked really well. What else did we learn? Lots of things about venture capitalists. Anyway, I'll write it all up, but I just wanted to talk a lot about Nellie because she was absolutely fantastic and so inspiring. And can you tell that she inspired me? So that was my highlights from day one. Got one more tomorrow.